Well, apparently, lying season has started very early for the Lakers. As far as Rob Pelinka says, Lakers will do whatever we can to meet LeBron James' expectations. Now, leading up to the NFL draft, there's a common theme and a common label that people tend to throw out there, and it's called lying season. And that is when a lot of the GMs throw out a lot of smoke screens, a lot of misdirection. They never say what they actually mean. And usually what they say turns out to be the complete opposite, something completely out of left field that nobody ever even seen coming. This is the situation that I believe is going on right here. In the NBA, it happens also. Lying season leading up to the trade deadline. Teams are always lying just to jockey themselves in the best position and get who they think they want or whatever. That's what I think is going on here. This comment by Rob Pelinka. Now, they claim they're going to do whatever it takes, whatever LeBron James wants. Now, I guess they want to throw out there the assumption that, okay, obviously we want to win a championship also, but they're not mentioning their salary cap situation is horrible. And for the sake of argument, let's say they go out there and they can bring in, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'll just throw that name out there for example. He's not coming cheap financially or compensation wise. So what would you have to give up to get him? A whole lot. You would literally, the Lakers really didn't have that much of a bench this year. So basically the little scraps that you have this year, all of that is gone. All of it. Just put a bow on top of every player on the bench and just ship. You got to ship them all out. And whatever draft picks you have in the near future, ship all that out too. Everything goes. So now you have Giannis, LeBron, and Luka. For the sake of argument, okay, you got a big three now. The Lakers cap situation, they only have, no matter how. And let me tell you something. LeBron not restructuring nothing. His ego would not allow it. Pay cut? What? I'm LeBron. Are you crazy? Me? Oh, you must be talking to Luka. And Luka just got there. Luka want to get paid too. Luka was literally the best player on the Lakers on this playoff run. As soon as he got on the Lakers, he was the best player on the Lakers. Why should he take a pay cut? And now you go to Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's already won a championship. Why should he take a pay cut? So you got to pay them what they want. So now the money that's left over, you gotta have a bunch of Timu players on the bench. For real. It's just not gonna work. It's gonna be all for. That's why I think Rob Pelinka in his quote here, I think he's lying. I think he knows the writing is on the wall. If they're going to get anything to move forward in the future to rebuild a once prestigious organization, the Los Angeles Lakers, they're going to have to go to LeBron and get him to, because he got a no trade clause. That's going to have to be the behind closed doors conversation that they have. But let's read some of this here. Starting the offseason sooner than anticipated, Los Angeles Lakers general manager Rob Pelinka is going to do everything in his power to build a championship roster around LeBron James. We know that's a lie, in my opinion. Speaking to reporters Thursday in the aftermath of the Lakers' 103-96 loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 5 of the first round series, Pelinka said they will do whatever we can to meet the roster expectations of the 40-year-old superstar next season. No distractions, whatever we can, end quote. That's the key part of that sentence right there. This is lying season for the Los Angeles Lakers. Rob Pelinka is throwing a smokescreen out there because in the NBA, and you can ask Nico and Dallas about this, one thing you don't want and you can't afford as a GM is to be perceived as the bad guy, because GMs get fired like left and right way before the thought of moving on from a superstar. You got a named superstar on your team. Teams will fire their GM way before they trade away that superstar, because the superstar is the money maker. That's the cash cow. That's the guy that's filling up the seats. That's the guy that's getting you all the ratings on streaming platforms and broadcast networks. So you're not going to get rid of him. So Rob Pelinka got to put it out there that, I want to do everything I can for 40-year-old superstar next season. They leave it hanging like that because, that's why it's like that in quotes. whatever we can. He knows they can't do anything. He knows. Pelinka's comment is in response to James saying after Wednesday's season-ending loss that he wasn't sure what the roster will look like next year besides the guys that are locked into contracts. See, and this is why I say what I say about this dude. This is why I don't respect this guy. Right there, he at the end of the season, he's basically saying, well, I want to see what the roster looks like. You might as well go on and retire then, because everybody, the jig is up. Everybody already knows you don't like playing unless you have a super team, unless you have the deck stacked in your favor. In the times that it wasn't stacked in your favor, you went out and formed a super team. When you couldn't get over the hump, when you couldn't beat Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen, you decided, okay, I'm going to go to Miami with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and have my own big three. See, it's all right. See, in LeBron's mind and in LeBron fans' mind, it's all right for the deck to be stacked in his favor. But when it's stacked in other people's favor, then there's a problem. And they shouldn't get the same credit as LeBron because they're stacking their teams. But when LeBron stacks his teams, we're going to give him all the praise. He's always the best player on the team. Even this past season, when Luka got to the Lakers, Luka was clearly the best player on the team, but not to LeBron fans. Oh, no. Even though Luka was dropping that 31 points a night, but they still want to blame him. He should play more defense. Well, okay. By that same token, LeBron should be more impactful on the game from the offensive end. And the defense that you guys claim that he's so great at playing, it wasn't there in this series. Not at all. It is notable that Pelinka was speaking with confidence about James returning to the Lakers. He does have a $52.6 million option for next season and talked about not knowing how much longer he will keep playing. See, his stacked deck is no longer working, so now he's pouting. He's ready to pick up his ball and go home now. That's why he's talking like that. It's a built-in excuse. Well, I got to see what the roster looks like, because OKC don't really need him. If you get all of those players, then I think I might come back. And when we win the championship, I should be crowned MVP because I'm the best player out of all those guys. Just keep that in mind. The MVP should be mine. This is the type of madness, and this is how LeBron fans think too. They would actually sign off if all those players I just mentioned somehow, for the sake of argument, let's say the Lakers could get all those players I just mentioned, and the Lakers go on to win a championship. Everybody knows LeBron would not be the best player on that team, but hey, not according to LeBron fans, the LeBron stands, the LeBron sexuals, the LeBrick supporters. Oh no, LeBron would definitely deserve Finals MVP, even though he averaged 10 points a game. His defense was out of the world, though. What madness is going on? Dude just need to go ahead and retire. Boom, chicka, boom, boom. There's no indication that James would leave the Lakers if he were to become a free agent this summer. He even alluded to staying in L.A. while speaking to ESPN's Dave McMenamin on Wednesday night. Just continuing to play. I don't know where I'm at, James said. That's what that is. Not coming back to play here, just playing, period. Just playing, period. You can see yourself playing somewhere else, can't you? So this is the type of language that he used when he was about to leave Cleveland the first time on his way to Miami. Then he kind of alluded and started talking the same way at the end of his Miami Heat tenure. Yeah, who knows? Kind of dismissive and aloof. Then next thing you know, he's with the Los Angeles Lakers. And now he's talking the same way. So, in my personal opinion, I think he's leaving the Lakers, and it's not completely to, his choice and his, it's not going to be exactly because he wants to. I think the Lakers are done with LeBron James. And Ryan Whithorse even actually said that. One of the longest LeBron James supporters since he's been in the league, who ironically LeBron dookied on a Pat McAfee show just for no apparent reason. I think Brian Whithorse was hurt by that. He was thrown off by that. And I think Brian Whithorse is like, you feel like that, I had no idea, but you know what? That's cool. It's kind of ironic, the timing, because, going out of their way to build teams around him, because he's not the best player on the team right now. It don't make sense to build a team around him, a 40-year-old LeBron James, who obviously don't have the ability to take over games anymore when the team needs him to. Why would you build a team around him? Then you look at the salary cap situation, and like I said, if they was to bring in either one of them, it's going to be a money issue, because those players feel like they deserve their money too. Nobody's taking a pay cut. So you're going to have to literally gut a team that really don't have that much of a bench anyway. And Outta, that dude was busting ass from the perimeter. And you better believe if you trade for Giannis or Jokic or any superstar, Rui is out of there. You don't have no bench. You got a Timu bench, Timu support players, and you're relying on your big three to do everything. And Luka, the knock on Luka when he was in Dallas was he doesn't really care about fitness like that. And we kind of got a glimpse of it when he took that hard foul from Rudy Gobert, and he went down kind of awkwardly and kind of tweaked his back. I mean, if he was in better shape, one could argue he would be much more flexible, he would have more endurance. He would be much more elastic. So he might have went down and awkwardly, but he would have been able to stretch that off, and he would have still been able to compete at the same level he usually does. But like I said, maybe Nico Harrison was right. Everybody was mad at him, sending them death threats, and you want to burn his house down, and he's got to hire extra security now because people threatening his life. But hey, look at the results. Yeah, AD got hurt because he always does, but one of the reasons the Lakers got smoked the way they did was because they didn't have. That's why you got Rudy Gobert dunking his way to 27 points, 24 rebounds. Nobody could stop him. Lakers were too small. So Nico was right. Y'all are, especially you idiots that was sending them death threats and threatening them and stuff like that, trying to run him out of town. And y'all owe that man an apology. Y'all need to, because I know some of y'all probably wanted to vandalize his house, and there's probably a lot of things that went on that wasn't reported. Y'all need to show up to that man with like the people did in the Matrix, this part 2, walking up to Neo with baskets of fruit and food and thanking him and stuff like that. That's what y'all need to do to Nico Harrison. Show up to his house, apologize, give him some food, buy him steak dinner, whatever he liked to eat, and just apologize, because it's starting to look like he was right. It's hard to find anyone who will believe James is going to retire this offseason, coming off a terrific 2024-2025 campaign, but there are a lot of big decisions facing the Lakers this summer. In addition to possibly needing to extend James, Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves are eligible to sign new deals this summer. Dorian Finney-Smith is either highest profile free agent, not included James. Where are they going to get all this money from? There is a such thing as the salary cap, and you can massage it and finagle it any way you want, but sooner or later, you're going to run out of money. Per ESPN's Bobby Marks, the Lakers will only have the $5.7 million taxpayer mid-level exception available. Assuming James stays with the team, they will be able to aggregate contracts and trades since they are only into the first tax apron. Okay, depth and finding a starting center will be the two biggest priorities for Pelinka and the front office. The lack of both really played a huge difference in the series against the Timberwolves. If I was AK in the Bulls, I would dangle Vucevic in front of the Lakers. You know what? Vooch is a center. He's kind of mobile. He's not much on defense, but hey, y'all don't care. Y'all don't play defense anyway. How about you guys take and give us Rui Archer? Let's do that. AK, get on the phone. Lakers are getting very desperate right now because they got a 40-year-old guy who needs to retire. They got a head coach that thinks he's a lot better than he is. That's a whole nother thing, because when LeBron leaves, Lakers need to consider firing JJ Redick. Shout out to Darvin Ham, because he was clearly railroaded and treated like crap, just so LeBron could bring his little podcast buddy, his little tea-sipping, crushed grapes in a glass partner, J.J. Redick, old punk-ass dude. Depth and finding a starting center would be the two biggest priorities for Pelinka and the front office. The lack of both really played a huge difference in the series against the Timberwolves. Jackson Hayes, who has been starting center since Anthony Davis was traded, didn't play at all on Wednesday and was on the court for fewer than 10 minutes in each of the first 4 games. And that's a knock on J.J. Redick. That's the only 5 you got, right? Put him out there to pinch Rudy Gobert or something. Trip him, tie his shoelaces together, do something, sneeze on him, give him the flu. At that point, this dude was dunking. Rudy Gobert turned into primetime Shaq. And you're going to do absolutely nothing? Talk about a coach that's in over his head. That's why he was so sensitive at that press conference. When the reporter asked him, like, hey, you going to lean on your assistants for some input, some advice, some help? Or what, are you applying that up because I'm a rookie head coach and having experience, I don't know what I'm doing? Man, that reporter should have been like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because either way, you could tell his mannerisms and the way he was getting all tight about it. He was already prepping himself to walk out, so you might as well have came back with, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because he was going to be a little punk about it anyway. J.J. Redick, old punk ass. Head coach J.J. Redick didn't trust the bench to the point he played his entire 5, all 24 minutes in the second half in Game 4. And that's what did them in. I'm going to leave a link to this article in the description. You guys can read it for yourself. While we at it, let's hear a little bit what this clown got to say. Man, hold on a minute, man. We're going to listen to y'all Kang lie, because lying season fits him perfectly.
From Austin Reeves to LeBron James, let's hear what he has to say post-game.
Wonder how you go into an offseason after year 22, when you probably had high hopes heading into the postseason that end abruptly like this.
I don't know. Obviously, for me, since my first NBA Finals appearance, I think in 2007, the moment I got an opportunity to be a part of that and taste that feeling, from there on, every season that I did not make it to the finals or did not win a championship has been a disappointment. So it'd be the same for me. It'd be the same off season of disappointment and unfulfillment, have an opportunity, to play longer and give yourself an opportunity to play for the Larry O'Brien Trophy. So nothing changes for me.
The fact that you're going to enter into an off season on a roster that has Luka Doncic, that secured the number 3 seed in a really tough West this year, what type of thoughts does that give you about your end game? And how many more years will we see you play?
I don't know the answer to that right now, to be honest. So,
you're a bum.
Let me see.
You're a bum.
LeBron, kind of too along those lines. There's belief, and teams always believe to a degree. This team had like that real. It seemed like that real genuine belief. Did that energize you in ways and challenge you mentally and physically in ways that you could see wanting to do more of this, having that opportunity?
No, I walk into the practice facility and walk into this arena with high energy all the time. And I just try to spill that to my teammates. I try to spill the belief into my teammates, play as hard as I can, do whatever I can out on the floor while I have the opportunity to do it. But I think the only thing is it's up to me if I want to, continue to play or how long I want to continue to play. It's ultimately up to me, so it has nothing to do about anybody else.
You're lying.
You've taken on so many different challenges in your career. Being paired mid-season with another ball-dominant superstar, it was one that you'd never had before. How did that go? What were the challenges with that? And what areas do you think that pairing could be better in the future with more time?
Yeah, anytime you make an acquisition or a big acquisition in the middle of the season, it's always going to be challenging. And the whole, obviously, dynamic changed. We had some challenges, but I think, ultimately having a guy like that is very dynamic for any franchise.
LeBron, how did, I think it was the final 12 games you guys played when you had your full unit after you returned. How did the end of the regular season, but also this series inform, from a team-wide perspective, the areas of improvement for next season?
I don't know. Obviously, we don't even, listen, it's a business too, so you don't know what the roster will look like next year, besides the guys that's locked back. So we don't, I got a lot to think about myself, so I don't know what where I stand right now, but I think whatever happens, and JJ, we're going to continue to grow. I thought he had a hell of a rookie campaign for a rookie coach, and it's a hell of a lot harder being a rookie head coach coaching the Lakers. It's a whole nother ball game. I thought he handled it extremely well. I thought he just learned every single day. He pushed us. I thought JJ and his coaching staff were great throughout the whole season. That was pretty cool. So that's one thing for sure that you guys know for sure that would be. And here is a great, a great coach, up and coming coach that would be great for many, many years.
LeBron, basically from mid-January on, right when he got injured, you guys started playing a lot of centerless basketball, and that required a lot from you and Rui and then Vando once he got back. Just from a physical, taxing standpoint, how tough was that for the last 3.5 months to play that style, and do you feel like that caught up at all in this series?
I got no comment. I put that uniform on every night. I gave everything I had, and that's all that matters.
Hey, Bron, with everything that you've accomplished, where does playing alongside your son rank, especially considering everything that he's overcome?
Number one, for sure. It's not even close. I mean, to be able to play the game that I love and to be able to be along my son this whole year has been one of the most gratifying, satisfying journeys I've ever been on, just to see his growth from the moment he was drafted when we were all in New York at the draft party to seeing him in Summer League, struggle early on in Summer League and pick it up towards the end, to get on the floor with him in preseason for the first time. I believe it was in Palm Springs, to getting on the court versus this Minnesota team, game 1, and just to see doing what he was doing in the G, getting opportunities with us. Super proud of the shortcomings that he had when we played in Philly. I thought that built so much character, and it showed when we sat out a lot of guys at that home game when we played Milwaukee, and ask anybody, any one of his teammates, any one of the coaches, he's just a joy to be around, and I have a lot to do with that. Appreciate it.
We know you had a lot to do with that, getting your trash son to play in the NBA. We all know. I mean, it's obvious. It's blatantly obvious. We all know LeBron James. LeBrick. Anyway, that's all I have on this subject right now. Rob Pelinka, we know it's lying season. You guys can't afford to put a championship team around this man, and it wouldn't be a smart move anyway. But then again, y'all don't seem like y'all really care about winning right now. Y'all just trying to sell tickets, and from a business point of view, okay, I get it, all right. But you owe it to your loyal Laker fan base to tell them that's what you're doing. And the ones with common sense, they pretty much know that's what you're doing anyway. And there really is no logical reason why you would try to build a championship team around LeBron James, because you can't. At this point, you can't. He's washed. He's double washed. Throw the Tide Pods in there. Dunzo. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shy Out of Town Sports.